And today's topic is overcoming. For those who just requested me, I can see your request. I'm going to accept your request very soon. Today's topic is overcoming relationship trauma. This topic is very personal to me because I have been able to speak to a lot of people who are going through traumas, either past or present trauma. And you know, one thing about this trauma is sometimes they are still in denial of it. You hear them say, I'm good though. But the aftermath of what they say is when you know they are actually traumatic. When somebody tells you, I can never love again, I can never marry again, and then you tell them, I know it must have been hard what you went through. And then they tell you, no, nothing was hard, I'm good. They are traumatic. When somebody comes out and uh, always, should I say, bully or try to talk down on the other gender, either the male gender or the female gender, no, they are still traumatic. And that's why they are saying those things. And when you ask them, how far? I hope you're fine. They say they're fine. They are not fine. They are still traumatic. And that's why it's very important for us to discuss this topic. And I'm very happy to discuss this topic today with a very intelligent woman, my sister in the Lord. And she's also a minister, Chidua. She is here. I think she's already requested me. I'm going to accept her now very soon. But before I accept her, you know, we have a routine here. And for those of you who have been joining me, we all know what this platform is about. It's about realities, and it's a Christian podcast. We have to start with prayers so that God will help us touch the minds of people coming here. As they live here today, we want them to change. That's what this program is about. If we cannot effect change, we cannot bring reality, then there is no point for this program. Hallelujah. So please close your eyes where you are and let's a little bit of prayer. Lord, we just want to thank you for this opportunity to be here and to discuss this topic, overcoming trauma in relationship or relationship trauma. We ask that those that will join us today will learn something from this discussion and they will be blessed in the mighty name of Jesus. And those that have traumatic relationship or they are going through traumas, childhood trauma, family trauma, whatever, you know, in their life that is a disturbance and is traumatic to them, we ask, Lord, that you heal them today in the mighty name of Jesus. Bring people, oh Lord, here that will not come and traumatize this program today with their bad behaviors. Oh Lord, we ask that you bring people that will give us positive information that will transform lives in Jesus' mighty name. Amen, amen, amen. So yes, let me see. I think I have, but let me accept my guest first, which is Minister Chidua, to start this topic with before I accept others. Hi, woman of God. God bless you. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you so much for sharing this topic. Discussing this topic with me. It's enlightening to know that you're here. I know that you've had a couple of programs like this in the past, and I mean, I'm sure that the guests today are going to learn a lot of things from you, and I'm very happy that you're here. God bless you, man of God.
Thank you. God bless
Um,
you too, and thank
I'll
you
just
for
say a little
bringing
bit
me.
about this trauma, and before I, just give you the flow and allow you, because you're my guest today, you have the volume of, the discussion today. Today, so trauma, I believe, is a crucial topic. A lot of people are either experiencing it in one way or the other. If you're not experiencing trauma, there's somebody around you that is experiencing it. I'm telling you the truth. Some of us, in one way or the other, we've experienced trauma. And if you're on the comment section and nothing has been traumatic in your life, or there's nothing that you've thought about and you just felt like it could never have happened, or you wish it did not happen, you can just tell us on the comment section and say, my life has been perfect. For me, my life has not been perfect. We all have things that we think. Some of those things we actually tell ourselves, if we have to go through this route again, I think I'll do better. I have a 20, if she's 21 or 22-year-old, who spoke to me, and she's just 20, I think she's 21. She's 21. She just clocked 21, last year, September. And she spoke to me about her relationship. and how traumatic it's been. And she's dating a guy who is, I think, in his almost early 30s. And then you see this young girl who is 21 in this traumatic and abusive relationship at 21, and always trying to make up for the other person's wrongs. Meaning the other person would do something and she would always try to make it. And she came to me and crying, and I'm saying, girl, God, Jesus Christ, if I can be 21 again, Lord, I don't know if I would be mending relationship or if I would be selecting the best. You have every opportunity. You don't have to go through this trauma at 21. Let me understand the person in her 40s trying to mend and blend and mend and take excuses and fix things for the other person while they should be fixing things. But at 21, I'll be flying. If you give me the opportunity to be 21 again, I will not mend anything. You will take responsibility. I will not take responsibility for what you do, because that's the world we live in today, where one person wants the other person to take responsibility for what they do. And I looked at her, and she's so beautiful and she's so intelligent. And I said, you don't even know who you are. At 21, Lord, you should have a selection. You should be the one saying, this one has this behavior. I don't think he's good. No. At 21 years old, you should not be crying for any guy. At 21 years old, it is too early to start going through those traumas for a guy at 21. It means priorities. At 21, you should be thinking of how to finish your studies, be a doctor, be a lawyer. You know, you should be thinking of how to fly. You know how these men come out and give us their what's that thing Unbreakable did? The data or whatever, the relationship graph. You should be thinking of how to make yourself a high value woman at 21. A lot of us at our age now, we're saying, Lord, I wish I could be 21 again. Oh Lord. And at 21, no, you know. So starting this traumas in relationship from that early age is very bad. That's why I'm saying this. Okay. There are certain things you can avoid. But if you're somebody who unfortunately has, I don't see some people now, they've been showing themselves. Let me see. At 21 should be at 21, a woman should be thinking of how to become the best version of herself to attract the best version of men. God bless you. At 21, that is it. Oh, give me 21 again, Lord. I don't know, I will do so much. Give me 21 again. Oh, Jesus Christ. You will meet me at the Senate. Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't know, but give me 21 again. Let me not say anything. You know, some of us, at 21, she should be married. Unbreakable, go and sit down. It is your type that are traumatizing women. You know, I'm going to talk about your graph today, Unbreakable. And shame on you. And you're here. I'm going to also bring it up because this time, you know, I'm in a car. Can I join? Dims 88. Yes, you can join. But I would like to give my guests, a little bit of time. You know, these things I'm just saying is just to introduce the topic and spice this up before we go deeply into, into the main topic, of today. So I want to tell, guys that, and ladies, build your value when you're young, please. Don't waste it on crying and shedding tears for people. If you want to shed some tears, let it be that you're 40 and you're telling yourself that whatever. But at your young age, please, at a very young age, please build values for yourself. Build values for yourself. I'm telling you the truth. It is not a time to waste energy. It is not a time to start seeking relationship counseling. At 21, if you want to seek a relationship counseling, let it be, how can I be a good woman? How can I be a good girl? It's not how this guy is breaking my heart and how I'm trying to mend it or how I'm trying to take his shit. No. You should be telling me how you want to be a senator in the future. Look at Betta AK. Okay, well, what's her name? Okay, now she's Betta Edu, the suspended female minister for parliament. What is that name? Whatever they call it, palliative or something like that. We were in the university together. We ate together. She was so vibrant. She was so full. We did politics together. Everything. At her 20s, she wasn't even thinking about some guy breaking her out. She would tell me, Franca, we had things with belt and unical. I thank God here that the woman of God here is also a Malabress. You know, she went to Unical. We started female leadership forum in Unical. We were the first people who were the first ESCO. In my young age, I wasn't thinking about some boyfriends. I was in the SUG. I was the vice president of customer assistant. I was doing a lot of things. I had started entering government house in my 20s. I wasn't thinking about a guy who's doing nonsense. Please build value for yourself. And if I have 21 again, I tell you, I'll 21 woman can still be married and choose a career. She can be married at 21. That you guys will traumatize her, Abby. Well, let me continue my topic and leave you. I know you just say your own. So this trauma could be from past relationships, it could be from present relationship, childhood, family separation, present relationship, friendship trauma, and this can deeply affect your ability to connect with other people. You know, one thing I know about traumas is a woman or a man who has been through a traumatic relationship tend to be guarded in that area. You understand? Let's say she was in a relationship. Let's use the woman right now. She was in a relationship where she felt like she was weak in a particular area and she got used in that area. When she get out of that relationship, she will be guarded in that area and you cannot penetrate her. You see? And sometimes it is not going to be of any benefit to the other person, you know. So it's you guard yourself and overguard yourself, and it becomes a problem moving on. That's why we're having this topic. There are so many people who are reserved, who are not able to open up, who are not able to trust, who are unable to love, who are unable to accept because of what? Traumatic relationship. And sometimes it's what they went through. A woman told me about her past marriage and how she supported her husband, built stuffs. And then she had a gentleman who was trying to come into her life when her marriage ended. And for some reason, she felt like this man was just coming to use her again the way her ex-husband used her. And she told herself that I'm never going to give to this one. Those are traumas we're talking about. Sometimes you don't know how messed up you have become from your past experience. You don't know. The past experience has messed you up so much that you don't know, but you are still thinking everything is okay. You are still living like everything is okay, but the other person is seeing something that you're not seeing. They are seeing a woman who is guarded, they are seeing a woman who is bitter, they are seeing a woman who is disrespectful, who is everything, but you are not seeing it. And that's why we're talking about this topic today. So, man of God, God bless you. I'd like to give you the platform to, tell us what trauma is. You understand? And how this trauma actually affect people
Okay.
and affect their daily lives.
Thank
And
you.
those of you on the comment section that I'm seeing and those of you that are joining, don't worry. We're going to ask questions. I'm going to accept questions. We're going to heat up the place. But I want us to learn something today from somebody who this is her field as well. God bless you, man of God. Please continue.
Thank you. So first of all, in just a layman's term, I will just define trauma as the harmful experiences that people go through as a result of what has happened to them. So when you now talk about relationship trauma, these are negative or harmful experiences people have gone through in relationships. And these relationships could be, you know, from people that should have been there to love them, maybe caregivers, and in which case you're talking about primary people in their lives. You're talking about parents, grandparents, siblings, and it could also be trusted friends, people you felt you could be yourself with, and then you maybe let them into your life, you let your guards down, and then at the end of the day they betrayed you. It could also be spouse, and also the depth of the
Yeah.
trauma.
Mm-hmm.
The depth of the trauma is actually the depth of the trauma is dependent on the level or who did it. Because when you're talking about a child, who can a child trust most than a parent? So when that trauma comes from a parent or a spouse, because these are the people that are supposed to be the closest to you, so this is where the trauma goes so deep. And the deeper the trauma, the more difficult it is for that person to live a normal life without being addressed. And the danger of trauma, especially in the area of relationship, why trauma is very dangerous is because these are bedded in the subconscious. So sometimes people are not even aware of it until the symptoms begin to show. And there are usually triggers. So then sometimes they begin to ask themselves, why is it that when this happens, I react like this? So they become reactionary. They are not even aware of the triggers. So when you don't even know that you have a problem, you can't even identify the triggers. But you just realize that whenever a man, if it's a woman, whenever a man is coming closer to you, you build that wall of
Yeah.
defense around you. Even though you want a good relationship, but you keep questioning, why is it that whenever a man is showing interest in me, we could be casual friends and I'm fine. But the moment it seems like the guy is becoming interested in me, I drop I build that wall around me, even though I want to be in a relationship. So
That's
you
the
don't
guard we're
understand it.
talking about. Mm-hmm.
Yes, you do not understand it, but you don't understand that because the people you trusted were the ones that betrayed you. So you can't even interpret or translate this because you're not aware of what is happening in the subconscious. But what we don't understand is like the subconscious mind is like the iceberg. When you are in the sea, you see an iceberg. The only part that's why it's very dangerous for ships because 75% of it is under. You can't see it, but the captain of the ship is only able to see the 25%, which is the little that is above sea level. And you think that's all there is. So this trauma is embedded in the subconscious. And until you understand that there's something going on there, you're not able to identify it and you cannot live a normal life. So most traumas that people go through actually start at that young age. Now, in the case of this 21-year-old, it could be, I'm not very sure, but it's a 50-50 chance. It could be that growing up, she lacked that male positive love. So she was not validated by a male, in which case maybe a father figure. She didn't have a father figure. So she didn't grow up feeling loved and validated by a father. Now, any man that shows interest in her, she goes. And she thinks that, this guy is the one showing me love. Even if it's because in this situation, it looks like a codependence. Because if she's making excuses for the guy, that tells me that she has low self-esteem.
Yeah.
So that is why she's putting that man's needs ahead of herself. So she's because in a relationship it's a give and take. I take care of your needs because I'm getting something. Maybe emotionally I'm being fulfilled. So I'm taking care of this because I'm getting this in return. But in a situation like that where someone is making excuses for the other person, it's already a toxic relationship. And for me, when I see such a relationship, the first thing that will come to my mind is tell me about your childhood. Because at 21, it's okay to be in a relationship, but not that kind of
Not an
relationship.
abusive one at all.
No. So something definitely went wrong in her childhood.
God bless you. How are you doing? Uh, uh, Walls are needed to safeguard our mental health to prevent unbalanced people from infecting you. Unbreakable. you're part of the people causing trauma to the women on social media. And woman of God, I want you to maybe a little, I would, divert a little bit.
Yeah.
Unbreakable here gave us a graph and narrated the whole thing, which I call nonsense, that he narrated about women going for the pool at the top. And he said something and said, when you're 40, your name is sorry. That is really traumatic. And there's also something that I see on social media where a lot of people would say that leave your marriage and go become a side chick to another man. I think that is a yardstick for most men abusing their spouses because already they are the alpha who are now determining how the other person ends. When you think somebody doesn't end well, you have every reason why you want to abuse them, right? First and foremost, going to the first question, if you're 40, your name is sorry because your time is gone. Can you react to that?
And so me
I
or him,
Yes, can you react to that? At least there are so many women who are here and listening to us
he said,
because
if
that
you're
is
40,
traumatic to some women. I saw the comment section and how people reacted. You know,
I'm sorry. So what he's saying is that if a woman is 40, her what?
her name is sorry. It's, in terms of relationships and in terms
You
of
know,
marriage.
I think that is a very negative and false assumption because what if, I find it difficult to really believe that somebody in this time and age will make such a comment when we know that people in their 60s have even found love. So we don't know the narrative. I'm one person, I don't believe in like, everything fits one. What if that person at 40 wanted to self-develop? What if that person found herself at 40? There are so many reasons why someone would choose because we're talking about constantly becoming a better version of yourself. Maybe it took her that long to realize that, look, I need to engage in self love because the more I love myself, the better person I would be to receive that better love and love someone else. So, however long it takes you, then that's how long you should wait. There is no yardstick or um, there is no law that says you have to be this age to be in a relationship. Absolutely not. We are individuals. Everybody has a life and a purpose. We came into this world differently. We live differently. And everybody has a lane that they have to follow. So people make mistakes because they're looking at their mates. Even the Bible says when you compare yourself with others, you're not wise. So somebody married at 25, so what? And you're 40 and you're becoming nervous that you're not married? No. You have something that you're pursuing. So when you feel you have everything about life is readiness. If you feel ready, it's just like food. We may start cooking at the same time, but what you're preparing is not what I'm preparing. So if I'm looking at your own meal and say, oh, she's already done in an hour and mine is taking 3 hours, and then you're saying that the meal I'm preparing is a sorry meal, please think again because you need your mind fixed. That is a totally wrong assumption to make. And people fall into this deception that they are going by the standard that people are providing for them, but realizing, forgetting that it's you and God only. Everything else is secondary.
This is a very beautiful answer. Unbreakable, get your mind fixed. It's just all I can tell you. God bless you, the gentleman joining me. How are you? Okay.
I'm fine, thank you. Good
Okay.
evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
So, do you want to react to what your brother on the street said about a woman 40 and her name is sorry? Do you think that is a nice word to use?
Not only is it not nice, it's actually incorrect. Um, I have listened to Unbreakable, right? I think
Yes,
that's his name.
yes, unbreakable. Everybody knows him for his bad behavior,
Yeah,
actually.
I've seen a lot of his comments. I've seen a lot of them. I saw his graph. I actually joined his live today because of that graph, because I actually want to challenge that graph.
Good.
Um, for being 40-year-old, I mean, for me, I think we have to go back to the culture. I think the problem starts from the culture and how we have raised women to think the biggest thing they can achieve in life is to be a wife to a
God
man.
bless you.
And I think that has to change. We have to start raising young women to go to school, be ambitious, get your degrees, get a job, make money, be self sufficient, be independent. Men will come. They,
Your network better don't disturb. Oh my God, because you are one of the intelligent men I have accepted to join this live. Your network should not mess up because you are intelligent. Oh my God, I think we lost him. His network is messed up. Let me see. Um, I believe that yeah. So I believe his network school. I believe his network went bad. Okay, he's trying to. I don't know if he's trying to join me again, but I love the concept of how he's, you know, how he's coming. And shame on those guys with those mindset. Those we're talking about relationship traumas. Those traumatic mindsets of abuse that are, because woman of God,
Mm-hmm.
when you have a mindset like that, you tend to be an abuser.
Yes.
You tend to mismanage a woman who is
Yeah.
30
Yes, absolutely. I was going to
because
say
you
that.
are thinking her time is ticking, so you
Yes.
mismanage her.
Yes.
When she is 40, you will mismanage her. You tend
Yes.
to maltreat her because you think age is against her.
Yeah.
And you tend to want to allow her take every shit you throw on her, every bad thing you
True.
throw on her. Gentlemen, please continue. I was saying that your network has, where are you joining from?
I'm joining from Nigeria. Actually.
Okay, good. Please, I pray in the mighty name of Jesus that your network will settle because I really love your idea and God bless
Yes.
you. Please continue.
So
So
as
you
I was
can school all
saying, we
these
have to
bad
go
men
back
on
to
the
the
streets.
culture. We have to go back to the culture. We have to stop raising women to think they cannot be anything of importance to the society other than to be a wife to a man. I think we have to raise them to think that there are lots more things you can contribute to the society that has nothing to do with a man at all. Like I said, go to school, get a good education, get good grades, get a good job, be self sufficient, be independent. Men will come. It's just a normal thing. Men will always come. At least up until maybe you are 45, 50. Even at 50, you are still going to get certain kind of men, though they might not be the kind of men that you want. But men will always be available. So I think it's actually not nice to speak about women that way, to say because they are 40 years old, they are in certain kind of category. And I think this is part of the problem with the modern world and the social media world that we live in now. Because the rhetoric itself is not helping men and women. Because when a man speaks about woman like that, when women see it, women are going to be thinking, why would I want to be with a guy like this?
Okay.
Oh, this is a perception of what women are. I have women in my life that I love and I care about. And just because they are 40 doesn't mean for some reason their value is less. I understand the perspective Unbreakable wants to come from, which what he will want to argue is that he's talking about sexual market value. That is what he often calls it. But again, there is a man for every
So
woman.
do you think
There,
a woman at 40 has slept with so many men? Not all.
again, not
There are
necessarily.
some
You
women
see,
at 40
women,
that has
we
only
have
slept with 3 men in their life or 2. Some at 40 are still virgins. I don't think that is
very,
how they
I'm
call body
going
count.
to,
There are some girls that are 20 that have slept with more men than
Yeah.
a woman in her 50s has. So even
See,
if we're coming
absolutely.
from
these
a
are,
place of sex, it is not justifiable.
I'm sorry, but
I don't,
these are,
I don't think it justified. Though a 40-year-old woman, I'm going to partially agree with Unbreakable here that a 40-year-old woman, statistically speaking, is most likely going to have been with more men than a 21-year-old. I think
it's
that's
not
just
true.
logical. Sorry, ma.
Not true at all. I
Well, the
disagree.
assumption is at some point the girl will have started dating. And if she started dating since about 15 years old, for example, because they start very young these days, and if she has started dating since
Sorry,
like
give
15,
me a
like,
minute. Today's topic is overcoming relationship trauma. I'm going to pin it here on my ministry's website. Continue.
okay, so if you look at the number of years she has spent dating, she's most likely going to have been with more men than a young girl who is maybe 21. I understand the point you make that the number of years is not what determines, but it's just more of a logical conclusion because of how long they've both been on this planet. Yes, there are some 21-year-olds that are a lot more promiscuous. They've been with a lot of men and all of that. That is true. But I think, generally speaking, you expect a woman who is older to probably have dated
Okay,
more
I
men
have
because
a
she has
Can
question
I
spent.
for
say
you.
something
Okay.
there?
Okay, yes. One of them.
Um, I totally disagree, even though I like your narrative, but I totally disagree with this because how long someone has been on earth is not the value,
Yeah.
because there are people that have more values. There are people that were raised in environments of great values, where core values were instilled in them at a very young age.
Yes.
So you find out that even at 35, that woman may have had just one
Just
relationship
one.
that didn't go
Yes.
right. And she decides, I'm going to work on myself before I get into another relationship. It may take her 5 years. So core value is what determines how long or how many people one has slept with, not how old they are. There again, you might find a 21-year-old that has had strings of men that she's slept with,
Definitely.
especially at this day and age where it's all about competition. They want the one that will buy them the most expensive hair and this. So I don't believe that age has anything to do with how long one. It's all about core values and how because self-love and care determine, because if you love yourself, then there is also that self-respect, which makes you understand that I'm a person of high value. Not everyone has that right to come close to me, talk of touching me. So that's where I totally disagree. But everything else he's saying, I agree
Yeah.
with.
So I have a question for him actually.
Okay.
A woman who is close to her 40s, or
Yeah.
let's say she's 40, that has been married for, let's say she got married at 20, right, or 25, and has been married for 15 years,
Okay.
and something happened and got divorced at 40.
Yes.
Are you saying that that woman has slept with more people than a girl who's 25? Let me ask you that.
No. No. Like I said, I
So,
don't
because you said something about
necessarily.
sexual values,
And then
this woman has
statistically,
been locked up with one man for 15 years.
Yes. Um, you see, the problem I think most of the time is there is men normally most time have a specific perception of what a woman's sexual history is. It might not necessarily be true, but that is the perception. That is why I agree with mommy here when she said that your age is not what determines the number of people you have been
Exactly.
with. That is perfectly true. But unfortunately, in the sexual market, that's not the way men perceive it. The logical, well, it's not even logical by the way, but the perception is that the older you are, the more men you've likely been with. That is the perception. It's not necessarily true, it's just the perception. But the fact is, the vast majority of men hold this view and they hold this perception as well. But for a woman who got divorced, for me, I don't even have a problem with a 40-year-old woman, personally. It's not a problem for me. I'd rather be with a grown adult than some 21, 22. I mean, we don't have anything in common. I don't have what I'm doing with a 21-year-old girl at this stage of my life right now. So a 21-year-old girl is still learning life. Probably doesn't know anything. She doesn't even know who she is. She doesn't even know what she's looking for in a man. So I don't think there's anything wrong with being 40 years old. I don't think your value is any less as a human being. And I think women as well need to stop letting men determine what's
thank
their
you. Sure.
value. They need to stop listening to men. You have to. You can't calibrate your life to fit into what some people think.
You are your own
You
value.
Sure.
Create it.
yes, you have to come out and say, how can I be the best version of myself?
Mhm.
And that best version could come in the shape of being a business person. You can make some money. You don't have to depend on a man for money. You don't have to let a man manipulate you just because he pays your bills. And a better version of yourself could be going to school, get a good job, contribute to the society, help the need, help the poor. There's so many other things you can be. I think we have done a disservice to women because we have always told women that your value is dependent on what men place on it, and I think it's a very wrong, very very wrong way of raising women. But I'm glad the younger women of today are starting to fight back on that. Even though they are not as brazen as the guys, obviously Unbreakable is always going to be more brazen than everybody else. But I actually joined this show to challenge his graph today. I've seen that graph. I know where it is coming from. But I think the graph is flawed, and the reason I think it's flawed is he picked something that is a human issue, then turned it into a woman problem. That is what I observed in that graph. Because his argument is okay, everybody wants to date the men at the top. But if you ask the men to make the list of the women they want to date as well, they don't want to date the woman at the bottom of their list. They want to date the woman at the top of their list as well. So how is it different from how is the man who wants to date the women at the top of his list, which are probably going to be women that are virgins, they are very submissive. You know the normal thing, Unbreakable normally.
So everybody has the top of their list then. It's not just the woman.
It's not just the woman that is aiming for the top. I'm pretty sure if Unbreakable makes his list now, the women at the bottom of his list are not the women he's going for.
Good.
He's going for that woman at the top. So if he is going for that woman at the top, why is it a problem that the woman is looking for the man at the top of her list as well? That's not a woman problem. That's a human.
So is
thing.
it bad? Okay, is it bad for a woman to aim high?
It's not. I think you should aim as high as possible so that even if you fall off, you won't fall too far from your aim. That's what I think. I don't think you should be realistic though, because I think there are a lot of women who are also not realistic.
True.
But I think generally you should aspire to have a man who wants to take care of you, pays your bills, wants to be. I'm not really the kind of men leading women kind of person, but if that's what you are looking for, that's fine. Generally, God-fearing man wants to pay your bills, has a lot of money. I mean, who wouldn't want somebody? Even if I have the opportunity to choose a friend who has money and a friend who is broke, I would choose my friend that has money. So why would you blame women for choosing a man who has money when even you have the opportunity, you choose your friends that have money more than the poor ones? And besides, men have always been saddled with that responsibility that they are supposed to take care of the women. I don't necessarily agree with it because the world economy has become extremely hostile to men, for example. Not many men have the ability to provide the way the society expects them to provide.
Sorry, as I'm seeing you now, I'm regretting that I accepted you. I'm sorry. As I just see your face, I'm regretting that I accepted you. And don't prove yourself like that. Just do better. Just do better.
No. Mama, we good. Just that we are disciples of Unbreakable, so we are good. No wahala.
There are many of them.
There are many of them. See, let me tell you, you're the only good guy in the street right now. If you're not married, come to me later. You are the only good guy on the streets now. All of them, they are bad as you're seeing them. And I know them. So that's why when most of them come to my inbox and say, I need a wife, I look at them and I laugh.
No,
Mama, you want to molest somebody's daughter?
Mama, I'm out of the market already. I just have an exception to. I understand where it's coming from, and I totally agree with some of his submission. But we need to create a balance.
Yeah.
You understand? There needs to be a balance because the chaos we're seeing in the world today, whether we like it or not, right now, for the past 2 decades, women have been having their way. What is the world turning into? Women have been having their way.
When you say women have been having their ways, how?
Where I mean women have been having their way, their voices are being heard now.
Where?
But now that their voices are being heard, what are we seeing in the society? You understand now? So the balance I want to bring here right now, because I have a wife, I do not suppress my wife. I allow her to have a will. You understand that? Allah have a will. Like this brother made a statement. Why would you now? I had a discussion with my sister the other day. I said, now I was telling her, I said, I'm going to do a podcast or I'm going to do a talk. I don't have time. I have less than 10 minutes to get to work right now. I'm going to do a talk and put it out there. Men, stop bringing women to the US. If you have a wife, stop bringing women to the US, and women stop going back home to get married. Let's create a balance. Now, what is the balance here right now? These people, they've understood the fact that you may not be their type, but they want to use you to climb. Or you as a man, because currently right now, majority of the people watching may be Nigeria now. Because Nigeria is hot right now, the economy is not friendly, we want to travel out. But if you as the man, you know you've not treated this woman right, stay back home with her. If you know you've not treated her right, in the past 20 years you've been in a relationship, and this woman has not enjoyed 5 years in that marriage, don't bring her abroad, because she will deal with you. And the time she's going to deal with you, you're already in your 50s, that you don't even have time to recuperate. We must start telling ourselves these truths. We
Well,
must start telling
you
ourselves,
just told me
and
something
women,
that
and
somebody
women,
called me and told me something like this. He's a very popular person who's been in politics and everything. When I say politics, it's popular, so I won't call his name. And then the wife pressured him to come to US. He's in his 50s now. And this same wife dealt with you actually in Nigeria. She dealt with you. When I say she dealt with you, she dealt with you. So some elections you ran, you lost them because of her. And then you followed her and you still came with her to US. And so I think if you
no,
think that your marriage is not too balanced, try to fix it before you make plans for relocations. You understand?
yeah, madam, that plan, let it die. Both of you should just suffer there. Just enjoy the condition, because when she deal with you, when she comes here, because whether you like it or not, this trauma you are talking about today, right now, is already in this woman. One little thing, now you go do, we go make her snap. The world will not see what you've done behind, that she has bottled up all these years. All the world will see is that after they brought you to America or to Europe, now you want to show yourself. No, this man don't show him things. Or this thing already, there's a tiny rope just holding. So everybody stays. Same thing with the women in America. You want to go to Nigeria to go marry. This man do not know you. He's seeing you as a ladder to climb. By the time he comes here and hear one or two stories about you or thereabout, he moves. Truly, he wasn't in love with you. He may come and see that you have a pot belly or thereabout that is not used to. That is, you are not his type, but you are his type to come up. You are the channel. And these are things that we see that are distorting the natural ecosystem of marriage. It's not that marriage has ups and downs, but there are genuine ups and downs. So when you see people divorcing, they are not divorcing because of the ups and downs in marriage, but they are divorcing because of the motive that took them in there. If you went into marriage, with the right motive, you will be able to navigate the ups and downs that comes in. You will be cool-headed. But if you already have a plan B that many people have today for the wrong reason to get married, then you see them falling out. And this would be the statistic that people use in wanting to deal with remarriages out there. So we need to tell ourselves the truth. And secondly, as a woman, for crying out loud, if an Uber driver is asking you out and you know it's not your type, madam, please park away and go and look for a bank executive. Don't come into the Uber driver's life. He used that Uber strength and energy and money to finance your education and everything. And at the end of the day, you come and tell this Uber driver it's not your class. God will punish you.
Don't use that word here.
I'm sorry, madam. You understand? Go and look for your class from the beginning. Don't expect that man to not go and do more than himself to go and say he wants to, because of you go and start upgrading. You met him in that state. Is it that there are no room for growth? There are room for growth. But if he's unable to go because taking care of you or some other issues, then you will not come back and say it's no more your class. You are wicked. These are the motives we are talking about.
We are talking about trauma. These are the traumas we're talking about, and I'm happy you're saying
traumas
this.
we're talking. Yeah, these
Now,
are some of the things that cause all these things you are seeing in trauma that you see people are dying with. Because let me tell you something, madam. And that guy spoke about cultural practice. I remember, and these are true. My wife, there was a time we had a discussion. What if I don't have children? I said, what nonsense discussion is that? We'll continue to enjoy ourselves. They go now. Is it a problem? We'll continue to enjoy ourselves. They go. Young people, based on our cultural value, when a woman is unable to give birth, is seen as being worthless. That is where Unbreakable is coming from when they say 40 years. That is cultural values. That a woman, the main reason for a woman is to procreate. We have to change that perspective. Because now, I have a foundation in social sciences. We study society, sociology. Then I have a little background in health science. Women undergo serious complication in terms of reproduction. Let's not talk about the few ones that do nonsense and destroy their reproductive organ. We're not talking about that. But vast majority have reproductive issues. And these things are part of marriage. That when you marry this woman, you've married her with everything that comes with her. She also married you with everything that comes with you. So the inability for her to procreate does not make her worthless. We must change that narrative. These are some of the narratives we have from our cultural perspective that we want a hair. Who said my daughter is not a hair? I'm very happy today that I have a daughter because as a son, I can stay 3-4 weeks without hearing from my mother. Oh, Mama Alpha, you're doing well, you're okay, and that's it. But my wife cannot stay like that. She will always call and call and call. I say, God, thank you, I have a daughter. So those mentality now, they need to be a change. The focus being on me. That's why I keep telling women, when you say these women, these men are scumbag, these men are nitwits, these men are useless. Who created them? Who took care of them? The focus was on the girl. See, let me tell you something. A girl child is trained to be submissive, to be good, to be well behaved in the house. But a boy child is just left to be taken care of by the society. After all, now you will marry woman for her. That narrative has to stop. And who will be able to champion this? It is the woman. So every time you insult a man, you know what you're doing? You as a woman, you're also insulting yourself because those men were taken care of by the woman. So those narrative has to change. And moreover, understand one thing, money should not be the focal point of a relationship. A lot of marriages are being destroyed because of financial reasons. When both of you, if two elements can come together and say, we want to plan together, money should not be a problem. I do not have a problem with my wife even being the head. I've told my wife, you want to be the head, be the head. I don't have a problem. Be the head, I don't have a problem. You want to carry it because this responsibility is too big for my head. If you want to carry out, try it. There's no problem. You want to finance the house, if you can't, I don't have a problem with it. But these days right now, what we see is the fact that competition because of societal pressure, because of money issue. Money should not be a problem. And if you find love, I saw a pastor the other day. A member came to tell him, it was on, I'll share the video with you so that you can share. A medical doctor got married to a construction worker who she earns 6 times more than the construction worker. And women were asking her, how are you being submissive to this man? And he told them, he said, I am not submissive to my husband. I do not look at my husband from the focal lens of what he makes, but I look at him from the love and the sacrifice he poured towards me and the family. And the fact that I earn more than my husband, he worked 2-3 times harder than I work to make sure that the home is running. So these are things we need to put into women, because the women we are seeing these days right now, the Gen Z we are seeing these days in terms of women, is all materialistic. And trust me, there's a time you will get. The maker that made relationship knows why he made it. With all those money, you will still be empty when you do not have the right person in your life. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. I have a question to ask you before you go. You made a very strong point, and I'd like to clarify. Are you saying that if you're a woman in the US, you have no business marrying a man in Nigeria and bringing him here? And if you're a man in the US, you should not marry a woman in Nigeria and bring her here?
Yes, that's my stand. On the ground that, except you know this person very well before you left the country, except you know this person very well before you left the country. But if you do not have any form of tie that is based on introduction, just know it's a 50-50 chance you are taking. It's a risk. Anything can happen, because we are seeing it these days. Because one you are in it is 2 different economies.
Who do you think is guilting the other party or traumatizing the other party more in terms of, overseas relationship and marriages? When the other person brings the other person, do you think the men guilt the women more and leave them, or the women?
For the men, because I don't want to be biased here, for the men that bring the women, men are straight. We marry down. We can marry down. We can marry up. Any woman that comes, if you fit what we feel, we don't care about your financial status. We can build you up. We don't care. But now, so they don't sometimes the men may bring the women here. We've seen cases whereby men bring women and subjugate them, maybe push them into nursing, push them into some career field where they want to control their wealth, and these women do not have freedom. We've seen cases like that. Then for the women, we've seen cases whereby they also, because of Nami bring you come, documentation and every other thing, they also want to suppress you. So to make a clear distinction, there are women here, there are women back home. Look for. There are pool of single women in Nigeria. There are pool of single men in Nigeria. So look for where you are. So because you cannot now, because first and foremost now, distance is already a barrier for you guys. The communication you guys are going to be having is going to be mostly on phone. So you really do not know yourself. So by the time you now come and you now start seeing yourself, and the other party gets different motive, Mama, what do you think?
Since our network is very bad today. Woman of God, this is point is strong. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say to that? Do you support that?
Yeah, he made a lot of he said a lot of things that I totally agree with. Number one of the things he said actually made me remember something, the other person that talked about I think it's this Unbreakable that said the purpose for God creating a woman is just get married, have kids, and any woman that is unable.
That podcast.
I'm sorry.
It was No Filter podcast that said
Yeah.
so.
Okay, so that said, the purpose of a woman is to marry and have kids, and if she fails in this, then if she failed as a person. So he said something that his wife asked him, "What if I didn't have kids?" And he said, "What has me being married to you got to do with that?" So that actually addressed that person's skewed mindset. So I do agree in a sense to what he said, because long distance relationship is a very difficult relationship, because already, like he said, communication is mostly by phone, and that physical contact. And when I mean physical contact, I don't mean intimacy. I'm talking about proximity, where you see that person, you read their body language. It takes the relationship to a whole new level. Because when you're talking with someone on the phone, the only thing you hear is the tonality of the voice, but you're not able to read the body language. And each person is going to be at their best behavior, because one person is looking for something, the other person is looking for something else. But when you are sitting with me face to face, heart to heart, you're able to pick up on my body language. So what I'm saying, because what it's called is that the audio and the visual. So is there an alignment? There has to be a congruency. What I'm saying and my body language, are they the same? So when the audio and the visual are not in alignment, then something is wrong. There is a disconnect somewhere. But you can't pick that up, the audio and the visual. You can't do that when it's a long distance relationship. Now that person comes and you realize that you married a total stranger, because you may be communicating with someone over the phone for 3 years, and someone that is within your own locality for 3 months. You even know the person more because you see more. So I totally agree with him on in that sense. It has worked for some people, but he did say if it's someone you've known for a long time, so that means that length of time also makes adds value to that, and makes a whole makes a change, or makes it different. So I agree with him on that. It does make sense.
Mama, good afternoon.
God bless you,
Mama,
Unbreakable. How are you?
You have traumatized us for 2 weeks. You traumatized us for 2 weeks. Okay.
Because people are stressing me, I try to go away and leave people a little bit.
So, Mama, when I say something is worthless, I didn't say the thing is useless. Something that is worthless still has value. Are we aware?
No.
Let me explain. Worthless isn't useless. It depends on how you use the phrase. If you
use less, does not mean you cannot use it, but use less.
Useless, completely useless. Like it's not, it has no value, it has nothing. Okay.
What
Now
quantifying the
I
use
have
is the less.
okay, now
Just
I
the
have a graph.
way what is the
I
less.
have
So it's
I
the same thing.
have a graph. I have a graph. And we all know that one of the major purposes of a female is child production. It's even in the Bible. The major purpose why God put us here is to procreate and worship Him and give Him praise. Right? Now, the Bible says, go into the world and multiply. Now, according to statistics, it's right here.
Was he
If you
talking to
Google
only
it,
the woman?
he was also talking to the men,
Okay.
right? He was also talking to the men. Now, statistically, it states at birth, a woman at her optimal fertile peak is from 11 to 12, that's 18 to 31. Optimal peak, 32 years, still okay. Fertile declination, 40 years. I repeat, fertile declination, 40 years, meaning that her worth is now becoming less. She can still get pregnant, but there will be issues. Chances is that there will be issues. Then
Do
from
you,
40
do you
to
understand that
50,
as a man gets older too,
no,
his
mama,
reproductive system gets drops?
mama,
The production of sperms also reduces.
mama,
Do you know that?
They actually said at
At
35
mama,
for the man,
35,
35.
the man
Yes.
mama.
begins to experience. Look, the man libido drops from 35 upward. The woman's libido increases
Now,
from 35. Hold on, let
now,
me tell you. The
mama, hold on,
man's libido
mama.
drops from 35. The woman's libido increases from 35. And that is why you see a lot of women as they age, they want more sex than men, and men are withdrawing from sex.
Now,
The
mama,
man becomes less fertile too.
mama, hold on, hold on, hold on.
The man
Let's do this. At the age,
becomes a
a
30
woman,
seconds or 1 minute or distinct man, and the woman
mama,
takes all of
hold on,
that.
mama,
So
can
why
you
do
hold on?
you think that the reproductive organ affects the woman only? Are you not
Libido, like
seeing
somebody
the
just
other
wrote,
side
mama,
effect it has on the man too as he
as somebody
ages?
just wrote, libido is different from fertility.
So
Libido,
why shouldn't
libido,
I be
libido,
concerned about the man's libido?
libido is your ability to want to have sex.
So
Like
what is
the
the procreation if you
mama,
cannot want to always have sex with a woman?
mama, maybe you don't find the woman
So
attractive.
why, oh, but okay, you don't find
Okay,
the woman attractive.
maybe
That
you
is
don't
your
find the woman
excuse.
attractive.
And maybe the
Maybe.
woman too does
No,
not find the
no,
man
no.
worthy
Hold on.
to
It
carry
doesn't
his
affect.
child.
It doesn't affect the fertility. It does not affect the fertility, mama. Hold on, mama. Hold on 1 minute.
Libido
Now, one of the
decreases.
major
It,
one
the
of the
man has
first,
nothing to do with it.
mama, the first thing that attracts a man to a woman is attraction, your physical appearance. That's the first thing, right? And at the age of 40, for a woman, her beauty begins to decline. Yes, yes. You can disagree, but it's the truth.
Are you saying that the aging process affects only the woman?
A man never ages.
Oh, wow.
Let me explain to you.
Unbreakable.
As a high value man,
But
as
can
a
I
man who has,
ask a question? Why is it
Unbreakable.
that
I have one more question for you. Are you mentally stable or not?
mama, I am mentally stable, but the fact that people don't want to accept the truth is the problem, right? The truth is bitter. Nedu Wonko is how old. Hold on, Nedu Wonko is how old.
but
I like using
why
that man as a
is he
reference.
always coming here
How
to
old is
attack
he?
women?
I am
And
not
that's what I don't
attacking. I am
understand.
not attacking women.
Yes,
Man, I
you
heard you
are
speak.
every time.
I heard you speak, and the last time you spoke, for some reason, you tend to support women irregardless. And I told Mama about it. To you, nothing the woman does is false
No.
or flawed.
I'm talking,
You just spoke.
say the truth.
You spoke today, and from the side you were talking about, you only spoke about the abuses that women encounter. Do you know that women abuse men more? Yes, but you don't know this
No, no.
statistically.
Can I get something right? So, no,
Let
I
me
want to ask
explain.
a question. Is it, you're saying that I only speak in favor of women? I don't
Exactly.
even speak in favor of gender. I just present the
Unbreakable,
truth.
it means you've not been listening to her very well.
Mama,
Because
I
you know your
did.
head just wants to
I
Mama,
don't
lean
take
Mama,
one side.
I
sides.
did.
I just
Mama,
speak the truth.
I did listen to her, but
I think,
whenever the way I comprehend what she says, she more or less supports women. And we all know this, that women
No,
support women, but that is
absolutely
fine.
not. I'm
Mama,
just presenting the facts, the
Mama,
truth.
now when we're talking about trauma, hold on. When we're talking about trauma, right? There are major types of abuses. There are a lot of types, lots of abuses. There's physical abuse, sexual abuse, mental abuse, financial abuse, right? Now I'm going to pick out three that majorly leads to traumas, majorly in our present relationship, right? Which is the physical, mental, and let's say sexual and financial abuse. Now, women and emotional abuse, sorry. Now, women are emotional in nature. If I'm mistaken, that's what they all tell us. Women are emotional, right? And by mastering your emotions, you have learned how to emotionally manipulate people. Like, that is why accountability for women is zero. You people don't like that word. Women and accountability don't go hand in hand.
I'm
Unbreakable
sorry, can
stood
I
here
say something? Let me ask
before
you. So
that.
you
Please,
said by
please
mastering your emotion,
let me
I just
let
want to
me
understand something. By
let
mastering
me
your
land.
emotion,
You're gonna let
you're
me complete my say.
manipulating.
You have mastered the act of emotional manipulation. By mastering your emotions, you have mastered the act of emotional manipulation. You
These
can
are
get
totally different
you
things.
you you can get your way from a man by emotionally manipulating him. You might not be in love with that man, but take advantage of that man emotionally by giving him everything that that man wants. You can fake it until you get what you want. And that was where Ima Blaze came in. A lot of women emotionally manipulate men to get what they want by not even being emotionally connected to that man. And by the time the man realizes it, it's already too late.
Unbreakable. This thing
Yeah.
you're saying is false. Men are the one manipulating
My
women just to sleep with them.
goodness. Yeah.
We have okay, Unbreakable. Most men that tell women I love you, I want to marry you, do they end up marrying them?
Probably when they realize that the woman is for the streets.
Do you know, or would you agree that some men tell women I love you just because they want to get under their ties? Unbreakable. When you're talking about these manipulations, the way
Women
you
actually the victims
more,
more. Yeah.
Unbreakable. Do you agree that most men would always say this "I love you" thing to get between a woman's ties? And that's why you hear most women say, "I cannot trust again." Look, we're talking about trauma in relationship. I don't want us to start blaming men or blaming the woman. We just want to fix everybody. I want us to fix ourselves straight and do
Sure.
the right thing. Okay? So don't come here and say the woman does this, the woman does that. If I tell you a lot of women who I have spoken to that has gone through traumas. Anyway, let me not go there. Woman of
That is
God.
because society gives women the ability to vent, and men are not given that same opportunity to vent.
No, most men
One,
also vent. And I'm happy that they are able to tell me what they. I'm
one,
not
two,
even
three,
saying anybody is
four.
good, anyways. But I'm trying to tell you that this
Mama,
both gender,
Mama,
okay,
I'm telling you the truth. When a
traumatize the
man comes
other
out on
in
social media to
relationship.
vent,
Huh?
Mama, when a man comes out to vent publicly, he is deemed to be weak. He is deemed to be lesser of a man. I'm telling you the truth. I am telling you how it feels to be a man. Just by me coming out to say all these things that I've said here, I have been called mentally unstable. I have been called a lot of things. But it is my truth. It is my reality. But when a woman comes here and says whatever she wants to say, society tends to lean towards that side. Society tends to render a listening ear because we deem women to be weak. You understand? Everything I have said here is true.
Hmm.
Scientifically, when a
Even when
woman,
other men are disagreeing with you, it's still
no,
true.
listen, people might come on social media. People come on social media for different agendas, right? I'm not here to make people like me. I am here to speak my truth. It is my opinion. It is my truth. I am not saying it's factual. Okay? Now, you can like me or hate me. That's fine. I don't care. Now, that young man might come here. He has agenda. He already has his podcast, his mic. So already, I can already tell that he's trying to build his page. He has it set up. You understand? So guess who is the commodity? It's the woman. Right? You understand me? He's trying to when you get the majority of people, which is the women, they support you, you have the followers that you need.
Um,
Unbreakable, I don't need it. I need real people. Mama,
Unbreakable.
listen,
I have one
when
question
you
for
said
you.
about my graph, right? Can somebody point out where my graph is flawed? Lanjale Balis, I see you. Where exactly on my graph that is
So
flawed?
the man here has already told you where it's flawed. I don't need to say it so that they will not say
What part of my
they,
graph
they,
is flawed?
they all told you because men think that a woman's value is on them. That's the problem people have. You think a woman does not and cannot create her values. You think all values are on the man. And that's why you've made yourself the prize. According to how you call yourself, we are the prize. And when a person
Mama,
thinks he's the prize, he becomes entitled.
Mama.
And it tends to abuse the other person. And that's why we're talking about this
The
trauma thing.
laws, the
Because in
laws,
your head, you are thinking, I am the prize. It means the
the
prize can
laws,
mess up.
the
The prize
laws
can do
governing, the
whatever he
laws
wants.
governing women, the laws protecting women were created by men. The laws protecting women that has given women the voice to speak out was created by men. And that is the truth. We listened and gave you what you wanted. And ever since, let me tell you what has been happening. The world has been crashing. Ever since women have been heard and has been given that power, divorces is on the high rate.
So women are supposed to be products.
Promiscuity within women is in the high rate. Paternity fraud is on the high rate in women. Shame no longer. So shame is now a new trend. Prostitution is on the highest. So what exactly is Unbreakable saying that isn't true?
Unbreakable.
That women date
I
up,
have a question for
that
you.
while dating up, you mingle with a lot of high value men and they run mileage on you and you don't go for your level to build because you are constantly looking for something.
Unbreakable. I have a question for you.
What is the question, ma?
Unbreakable. Does the male gender have their own problems
Of
too?
course,
And
we do.
what are these problems?
What are the problems of the male gender?
Mm-hmm.
You got to be specific in what
What
area.
are the problems that the male gender bring in a relationship that traumatize the woman? Because we can't
What are the
be
problems that
one-sided. So yeah, you say women do this. Let's hear the men their problems so that we can at least tackle it today.
okay,
This
so
topic can continue tomorrow, next Saturday.
mama, one of the problems that I see that men have is they are aware that they are able to have multiple companions, right? They can have multiple wives, right? And instead of having that conversation properly with their spouse, letting their spouse understand that I would like to have multiple wives and giving that woman the opportunity to decide if she's going to stay or leave, they intend to go behind the scene and cheat, right? They go behind the scene and cheat, which will lead to what? Trauma and betrayal towards the woman's end.
Do you think this discussion is traumatic in the marriage? When you
Which,
come up to your wife and tell her, I want to have another wife in the marriage, do you think it's traumatic?
if it was said in the beginning, it shouldn't be traumatic because he already put
So
it
a
out
woman
there. If it was
should be aware before the marriage
before the
that the
marriage,
husband has a tendency to marry and add to her.
yeah,
And
yes,
if he
he
did
should.
not discuss that before the marriage and
Mhm.
brings it up in the marriage, is he right?
Well, if he brings it up, during the marriage, and she says no, then he has to respect the woman's decision because he never brought it up in the beginning. Because
Good.
by being married to a woman, you are devoting yourself to each other. You have to respect each other. You understand? You have to sacrifice for each other. Now, if you want a new spouse to join your marriage, you have to let the woman, agree to it. And if she says no, it's a no. You
So
don't go behind her and cheat.
a
Uh-huh.
woman in a marriage has the right to tell her husband no to another wife.
Yes. Yes.
And if the man goes ahead to marry another wife without her agreement, what punishment does this man deserve?
There is no punishment. There is no punishment. Either she leaves. That's the only punishment. She should leave. Her absence is the punishment. Her absence. There's nothing you can do. Because at the end of the day, you are not God. You shouldn't punish him that he chose to be what he's meant to be, a man. By so doing, you have realized that he is not devoted to you. You have seen that he doesn't love you genuinely
Her
enough to
absence alone
sacrifice.
should not be the
So
punishment,
what?
because you know why? The woman has belts. You see
As
why
what?
most women now will be scared to build with men? This thing you just said, her absence. Because most women has they've built with a man. Everything in their life has been given into that marriage. Most women, you see most men you see working, they are so empty without their wives. You see why a person will look at that man and see him as reasonable. It's the job of the woman in the house.
That's a
I'm
lie. That
telling you the truth.
is a
A
lie.
good woman will build her husband. Now, when you
A
leave him,
a
people will see
a
who you
good
be.
woman. I'm glad you said a good woman. A good woman.
So hold
Are we
on
saying
now.
all women
A
are good?
woman, you said let her leave. There is no punishment. A man
Yes.
who got married to a woman did not have houses, did not have company. And they now got married. And in that marriage, they joined their work together. The man has companies, has cars, and has houses. And tells the wife a traumatic question, or gives the wife, or tells the wife a traumatic thing like, I want to get married. And the wife says no. Like you said, she has the right to say no, and he has to respect her. And he
Mhm.
doesn't respect her and goes ahead to marry another woman. Would you say the woman should just leave?
Yes, because his karma is in front.
Let's
Let
leave
me
karma
explain what.
right
Let
now.
me tell you
So
what the
what
karma is,
happens? No,
Mama.
we are talking about reality now.
That's what I'm
What
telling you,
happens to everything that has been built together? The houses, the cars, the company.
Mama. When he goes ahead and gets married to a new wife, let's leave the property aside. Guess what will happen to all those things, right? All those things will end up crumbling because the person he's marrying to might not have the same mindset with the previous wife. You understand? Maybe the new person coming in is coming into that marriage based off of what she can benefit. She might not be emotionally connected to this man, but just wants part of that wealth. And guess what? She doesn't know how to manage it or even know how
Unbreakable. A
to
few
act to.
women
Uh-huh.
I know will walk out. And I know what I'm saying.
It's
They're not
okay to walk out,
in.
mama, but not damaging the
But
man, though.
hold on. But we're having this discussion, and a lot of people are listening.
Okay.
A woman who has given her life and built and put all her money and resources on a man, and the man
Mhm.
goes to bring another woman, are you saying that the woman should leave her resources for the man, or she
If
should fight and get them back?
when you divorce, you get half of the property. Am I correct?
If it's in a country like Nigeria,
Yes. If it's a court wedding, you are entitled to half of your property.
why not the man walk out? No, we're talking about a country that is partial. We know that the man owns everything. And
Mhm.
if the woman has been submissive, a lot of like some of us that will leave things in the man's name. So we are talking about a woman whose everything was in the man's name. So
I have
she cannot really fight for those things. I'm
th-
asking you
th-
now,
there is a
what
man
should
that
she
I
do?
know. I'm not going to call him. I'm not going to call the name. This man married to this woman. They built together. All their kids currently are successful. This man is rich, has a lot of properties, right? Guess what? They divorced, right? You know what this man did? This man settled his wife because he recognized the effort of the woman.
We are talking about a few good men. Let's just talk about the ones that just goes and be against the woman's wish. I'm waiting to hear something
If
from
there
you.
is
I'm
nothing
waiting
the
a fair
woman,
answer from
if
you.
there is nothing the woman can do, I just gave you an answer. Men should, you know, give to her what she deserves. You cannot just, this is the woman that have had your kids, that have suffered with you. You're only a demon not to make sure that she's good. Are you understanding me? If that's what you want to hear from me, and I'm going to tell you the honest answer. She's human. If you
Now, do
betray her,
you
if
think
you
that the
betray,
man
Mama,
has
hold on
traumatized
now.
this woman
Of
for marrying
course,
against her wish
of
when they did not
course.
agree from the
Of
beginning?
course, I agree that she's being traumatized. Nobody wants to be alone. Nobody wants to be alone. It's not fair towards the woman. And I believe the man should do everything possible in his power to make sure she's good. Because I always stand for when a woman does things right by the husband, she deserves every accolade. She deserves every good thing.
Such a woman with such trauma, would you
Mhm.
expect her to be nice to the next man?
Of course.
Why?
because the man coming into our life had nothing to do with it.
Okay.
You need to heal so that you can
So
give the
now,
next person a better
if a
version of
man
yourself.
has been so nice to a woman, gave his life to her,
Hmm.
gave her everything he needed the same way,
Hmm.
then she dumped this man for another young guy and gets married. This
Hmm.
man becomes lonely. Do you
Hmm.
think this man should be nice to the next woman that comes
Of
the way he
course,
was nice to her?
of course, because the next person might be a blessing. Don't take don't
Good.
take your past trauma to the next person because it wasn't the person's fault. Be a better version of yourself so that you can give 100% to the next person. And if it
Unbreakable.
doesn't work,
I
keep
have a
giving.
question now for you.
Go ahead,
You usually
mama, because it's always
say
questions.
my old self would have been better. If it was
Yeah,
my old self, I would listen and be good. I know you've been through series of traumatic events in marriage. If a woman
go ahead.
comes now, would you give her your best?
Of course. Of course, this is my best. I'm able to express myself. I have preference. I see things for what they are. I see things
Would
for, I
you
would tell you,
love her and not maltreat her?
I don't maltreat people. And you are a testimony. You know this.
Unbreakable.
I
I
don't
am
maltreat people.
different. I'm
It,
talking about now
it,
a woman that you'll be intimate with.
Mama,
Would
if
you
I'm,
trust? Would you lay down your guard? Would
of
you
course,
love
of
her?
course. And the only reason I would do that is if she compliments me, because I will be complimenting you. It's all about complimenting. If I sacrifice for you, you sacrifice for me, and my guards will keep coming down. When I need you the most, and you don't hesitate to help me or to render those services so that I can elevate, then guess what? Unbreakable will go the extreme mile to make sure you're good. Because we are not in this world to go against each other, but to go against the world, mama. So that being said, but people are now selfish. People are selfish. All they talk
Okay.
about is I. Mostly women.
I
Look
I
at, for
have
example,
a
mama,
I
hold on. For example, a woman will come, I want a man with six pack. I want a man with the unrealistic expectation. And Unbreakable will look at himself. I'm not ready. Ejiro Mudrega. You understand? So it becomes difficult now to meet a spouse that you can complement each other because women currently are in this unrealistic mindset that it's just stupid. Like it's crazy. It's difficult for men now to find spouse because the standard, the standard has changed. It's difficult now. And even if you even catch up to that standard, it's difficult to even find a submissive woman. It's difficult to even find a woman that will compliment you because they are busy. I It's either they're in their masculine state or they are traumatized from their previous relationship or they are broken or they have family issues. They have people they want to go and build, they want to use it to build house for their generation back home, or they have ambitions that they want to get to and they don't want to do it themselves. They're looking for a bank, a husband, not a husband. I've said this thing before. Women are not emotionally connecting with man no
the
more. They just want to benefit and keep it
Unbreakable,
pushing to the next man.
the way you speak, it means you're still traumatized,
It's
and we're talking about
how
overcoming
it
trauma.
it's
So
it's
right
how I
now, I'm going
speak.
to give the woman of God an opportunity to uh, to tell us how we can overcome these traumas. Man of God, please,
Okay.
some minutes. Tell us how we can overcome. We may not finish it, maybe just 2 points. Then we'll come back next week and continue.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one way we
So,
think we can overcome trauma.
okay. So the first thing is to recognize that it's there, because what you don't recognize, you don't even know. So know what you know or what you um, acknowledging, first of all,
Yeah.
recognize that something is wrong. And then another thing is forgive yourself, especially if that trauma happened in your childhood. Because I always say, or it is said, that what happened to you in your childhood is not your fault. However, how it affects you in life is your responsibility. So you have to acknowledge that it happened, forgive yourself, and then forgive those that did it. If it happened in your childhood, even if it happened later on in life as an adult, maybe it was a relationship you gave your whole self to. You know, you're a woman, you met a man and you had the right intentions, or you're a man, you met a woman and you had the right intentions, but you didn't know that you were a product or an end to a means to an end for them. So that's trauma. That's going to cause you trauma, because that's a kind of betrayal. So forgive yourself, forgive the person, and then give yourself time to heal. Because the problem people have is that the fear of being alone causes them to jump from one relationship to other. So you bring those baggages, because that thing is, again, it's going to repeat itself. So these are the three major things. Number one, recognize that it happened, acknowledge it, but don't dwell on it. Forgive yourself, because trauma can lead to shame, guilt, and everything else. I mean, if I start talking about it, it's gonna take way longer. So, but like I said, I'm gonna go over them. The first thing is to acknowledge it. The second thing is to forgive yourself, forgive those that caused it, and then take time to heal. So these are the three major
Yeah.
ways that you can
And another
overcome
thing I want you
trauma.
guys to know is you can never outgrow something you've not overcome. Meaning, if you had a trauma that happened 10 years ago and you still are carrying the burden of that 10 years ago, like everything that happened is still fresh, you've not been able to overcome it, you're still living in 10 years behind.
Mhm.
That's the truth. You have not grown past that place. It's only when you overcome it, when you're not longer traumatized or disturbed by it, that's when you'll be in the current situation. That's when you'll be in the current world. And that is why we see some people, they are not talking current. When they talk, you know that they are talking,
Yeah,
they are 10 years, they
true.
still talking today. Do you understand? There are some
That's
people,
very
when they
good.
open their mouth and they start talking, you hear they are 10 years ago right
Even
now, they are saying it.
childhood,
That is where they
replaying.
are. Your
Yes.
brain
Mama,
is there.
Mama, you cannot.
Unbreakable, 1 minute.
You can. Yes, ma.
Your brain is in the 10 years ago, and whatever happened, it's your only physical here. And the brain is what controls you. The brain is what, estimates your speech
It's
and everything. So when
replaying.
you're talking 10 years. We are listening. I'm a good listener. When I hear you, I'm hearing your life 10 years ago.
Sure.
I'm not hearing the current
It's
you.
replaying.
It's replaying. You've not overcome it. And that is why you need to overcome whatever has happened. Like she told you, you start by forgiving. And another thing is you have to also practice self-care. There are some people who don't even
Yes.
take care of themselves. You look at them and you look at all the things that has been thrown at them currently on them. It's like somebody throw you fufu, you have it on you. They throw you eggs, you have it on you. They throw you no. Self-care. Take care of yourself.
Mama, can I say something real quick?
Okay.
Trauma is what builds a man. Pain. Because the Bible tells us that a man shall suffer for his daily bread. But as for
And the woman
a
shall do
woman,
what?
shall labor, you know,
Did
for
he say
childbearing.
trauma builds a
Yes,
man?
man, trauma does build a man. Out of every suffering, a lesson is learned.
And you
Okay.
think the woman does not learn from that too?
Mama, try to understand what I'm
Trauma
saying.
does not build, unresolved trauma does not build
Mama,
anybody. It destroys.
you can never resolve any trauma. You're talking about forgiveness. You're talking about, yes, self-care. I agree with that. Treat yourself
You see
and treat yourself good,
why I
but
say a lot of people
it
are
does,
living 10
Mama.
years ago
Mama, stop.
and
You're
they'll
gaslighting me,
be
Mama.
here.
I don't like that, Mama. I don't like that. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's call a spade a spade. You can never forget what you've been through. It lingers.
But the way it affects
All you can,
you,
Mama, hold on. Now you guys keep interjecting me. I don't like it. Let me put up my point, and I will leave. You can only stop it. You can put it in a place and lock it up, and don't let it show in the next thing you venture into. But it still lingers. When you have a cut in your hand, even though that cut is healed, when you look at that wound, you see the scars. It's still there.
but
You
the
can
pain
never overcome
is
trauma.
gone.
The pain is, you might think it's gone. It's there. It's only going to take a little bit of poking for it to come out. So let's be honest. Let's tell
And
ourselves the truth.
that's
As a
why we
man,
have men who are
That's a
time bomb.
I
problem.
said, hold on,
Hold
That's a
it
on,
might,
very,
it,
hold
this
it,
is a
on,
very
unbreakable.
you
Hold
might
on
problematic.
say
now.
it might you
And
might say
hold
it's
on. That is
wrong.
why we have men and women who are time bomb working.
Yes.
They are just waiting for that little
Yes.
trigger so they can destroy your
Yes.
life.
Mama,
A
it
man
takes
who has not overcome his trauma is not a
True.
good
It
man
will
to
show
be with.
Mama,
up in the
A
next
what
woman
you
who
should
has
be
relationship.
what you
not overcome her trauma is not a good
what
woman
you
to
should
be
be
with.
what you should be
They will
telling
destroy
people.
the next person
What
at the
Trauma
okay,
should be
slightest
overcome.
provocation.
this is my own opinion. People should learn to not fix people, but love them, connect with them. People tend to go into people's life to fix them. You cannot fix something you did not break.
No, fix yourself. And
Let your
you
exactly
just said something about my program. Fix me
let
next
let
month, so you will
let
come. Fix me.
let your love because women are that the thing about a woman is that you'll bring this nurturing, this love, right? That is able to heal a man, right? Love that man beyond his expectation and see that man flourish. Because every day in our entire life, Mama, hold on, we go out there, we are facing trauma, we are facing it heads on, and now we are coming home to peace, which is our spouse. But instead of giving us a place of peace, you are giving us chaos.
Unbreakable. You know, I find this very disturbing
It is
when
this
you
time.
think and when you
Me
make
too.
it think that the women are the only problems in marriages.
No,
The
no,
woman
no, no, no,
also
no, no.
goes home to work. She expects to come back home to love and care. Why?
Mama,
Why are you talking as if it's just about the woman?
because it is, we are very easy as men. When we love genuinely.
This is disturbing. I'm sorry.
You see, that's the problem. When the man has chosen to settle for that one woman, we will go the extreme to protect our family. A man, hold on, Mama. This is how traumatized most men are. A man will sacrifice his happiness for the happiness of his family. That is how traumatized most men are. That is how traumatized men are facing it. So it not takes the right woman to make that sacrificing feel good. But
Unbreakable.
a
Do you
woman will
think the woman
sacrifice
also
her
deserves these
family.
things from men? You
What
are
do you mean?
talking as an entity who probably has had your share of life. You are talking as if other women has not had their share of life. I am telling you, I'm in the business of talking to people every day. And I can tell you, you see this thing you're talking about, there are a lot of more women that are hurting more.
Mama, a lot of women cause
So
their
stop, you're
pain.
making it look like the woman does not have a problem. We're talking about trauma in relationship.
They are self-induced trauma. So are you aware, Mama? They are self-induced
And why don't you
trauma.
think that most men are their problems?
Hey, God have mercy. God have mercy.
Hold on.
If you call
You just
if
told me
you call
about a man now who did not discuss with his wife, and then he goes and bring another woman or he's
that
following women everywhere. And
wasn't
you
what
told
I
me something
said.
about most men will not discuss with their wife and go and start cheating. And when the
True.
woman who is struggling with the man finds out that the man is cheating and start to talk, who is the problem there? Is it the man or the woman?
The man. If from what you just explained, because
So
he
why
went
would
and
that man
cheated.
come out tomorrow and say my wife is giving me issues and you blame the woman?
Mama, Mama, you see how you see what you're doing? I see what you're doing. Oh, I see what you're doing. I really see what you're doing. I see
Understand
what
what
you're
you're
doing. I
doing.
will catch you. I will catch you now.
Unbreakable, calm down. Chinanu, God bless you. How are you?
I'm
Let me
very
let me
fine,
use
Mama.
let me
Happy
use
Hi.
Easter, and
Chinado.
Happy
you're
Easter.
looking very beautiful as
Thank
always.
you so much. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
unbreakable.
She's shifting the goalposts very hard. So I'm trying to
Yeah.
touch the goalposts.
You see, you men.
Mama, I
Mama,
One
love
thing
to
I
see
can
how you're
assure you,
glowing.
men, is
I
you
love to
can
see
never
how
Mama,
come and
glowing.
destabilize me
Mama,
here.
I'm not destabilizing you, but today,
Chinanu,
Mama, you understand, you
talk
will
to me.
see it,
God bless you. How
you
are
will
you
see our
doing?
point today.
I'm very
Mama,
fine. I'm very
are
fine.
you aware of a young man that committed suicide? And
Do you know how many women have committed suicide?
Mama,
Mm, mm.
you want me to pull it up for you? It is analysis states that men commit more suicide every year annually than women.
And what is the cause?
One of it just happened.
What is the cause of the high rate of suicide in men?
Stress, not being heard, not being heard, stress
How
from
does the woman
spouse.
relate to it?
How does the woman relate? It is in your nature to bring peace. And when you bring chaos, how do you think I'm going to handle
And I'm
it?
still asking you, if the man created the problems himself,
Mama,
what happens?
mama, character,
Unbreakable. If the
mama.
man created the problems himself, what
Mhm.
happens?
It is in your nature as a woman to make sure that your man is in good health.
So the woman now take the man's problem on your head and take your own problems on your head.
If you see the problem, mama, you're not making it as if we are not no longer a union.
I am asking
If
you now,
you are my
because we're just
spouse,
talking about this
mama, hold
reality
on,
now.
mama,
If
you're
the
shifting
man
this.
created the problems himself,
Uh-huh.
why is the woman to be blamed?
I'm
Now,
not
you
blaming you. I'm
cannot
expecting
compel
you
a
to. I'm
woman. See,
expecting you, mama,
hold on.
mama. If you are
Look, let me
drowning, do
tell
you
you,
expect me to? If you are drowning, do you
I
expect me
can
to save you?
decide,
Hey
you know,
God.
if you're drowning and somebody saves you, it's because they have a good heart. I want you to
Mm.
understand
Hmm.
that you are responsible for your actions and whatever, as in for your decisions.
Okay.
And whatever repercussion comes, you are not responsible for them because you cannot even
And
decide
So
them.
and can I say something here?
let me get this. Let me get this straight, right?
A
Let
man
me
will
get
not
this,
mess up and trouble
mama,
comes,
mama. Let me
and you
And
get
can
this
I
expect the
say
straight,
man to
something?
fix him.
mama. Let me get this straight,
There you go.
right? Let me get this straight. I want to understand this topic today. If we are in a union and trouble comes, I mean, as the man, I brought the problem. I should carry my responsibility. I should face my problem.
Hold on.
Is that
Now, if
what you're
the
Can
saying
I
here?
woman
say something?
decides to
Can I
step
say?
in, it is a decision for her to make.
It is
Remember
an
that,
obligation.
look,
Mama,
see, hold on.
marriage is an obligation, not a decision. Marriage is an obligation, mama. Don't tell me that.
Can I
It's
say
not when
Obligation.
something,
you are
please?
intentional with the things you do.
Mama,
No,
marriage to me, if you're telling me it's a decision, then I can decide to opt out of my responsibility as a
hold
man.
on. It's an
Marriage
obligation,
is a
yes.
decision because you decided
But
to marry the person.
there are ways, there are areas where marriage is an
Are you
obligation.
kidding me?
Hold on, unbreakable. Let me tell you. You want to hear the truth. I'm like, again, I'm going to tell you, only a few women will make everything an obligation. We're living in a place where if you make a mess, you have to deal with a mess. And let me tell you, there are certain things
Wow.
in marriages you decide to deal with, and there are certain things you decide not to deal with. There are certain things in marriages that you are obligated to, and there are some that it is not an obligation, it is a decision you make. Okay? If your husband go give woman belle outside, you are not obligated to collect that child. You can decide to take the child or not. So don't
Yes.
tell me it's an obligation. If your husband decide to get married to another wife, you can decide to stay and be a co-wife,
Yeah,
and you can decide to opt out. It is not an
yeah,
obligation.
yes,
There are certain
exactly. Yeah,
areas
true.
where marriage is an obligation. If an
Yeah,
unknown illness comes in, your husband is sick, maybe diabetes
yeah,
or maybe something, you cannot decide to leave him. You're obligated to take care
If
of
you
him.
are not able
exactly.
to, if you're not
Yeah,
able to
If
give
your
But if
me,
husband
if
he
you're
loses
not
his
able
need
job,
to,
it from
hold on,
you,
if
unbreakable. Let me coach you in certain
okay,
things.
hold on, mama. If
Take
you're not able to
responsibility.
give me,
Take
if you're not
responsibilities.
able to give me
Hold
children,
on, hold
if you're
on,
not able to give me children, am
hold
I?
on, hold
Is it
on. I'm
my?
going to
Can I
get there.
decide to
If
opt
your
out?
husband
Mm,
falls sick, okay, you're obligated to stand by him
mm,
for better for worse.
yeah,
If your
exactly.
husband loses his job, you are
Mm,
obligated to stand by that man until he stands on his feet. You don't
exactly.
leave people at that level. But when they
Yeah.
make a mess, you tell me I'm obligated to stand by their mess? No, I
No.
can decide to stand by it.
Ex-
And I can
and
decide to
then
take the
Exactly.
walk.
and
okay.
another thing is sometimes, can I say something? Sometimes people have undisclosed illnesses or abuse, maybe substance abuse, and they withhold it from the other person. You're not obligated to stay.
Mm.
Yes, you're not.
So
Somebody has a terminal disease that they did not disclose to you. They're aware of it before you married them. They didn't tell you. And then after you married them, then they disclosed it to you. You're not obligated to stay.
so
You
if a
can
woman is
decide.
on, if a woman is unable to bear children, I can decide to leave. Am I correct?
Now, let me tell you, I was
Mama,
going to
mama, no,
get,
mama,
I
Mama,
had
I
I had
think,
I
Mama,
had a
keep
I
that same
think,
question.
energy. Mama, keep that same energy
Hold
going.
on.
No,
Yes,
No,
I don't
that's
think.
the
yes.
for better
Hold
for
on.
worse that you signed up.
Let
Oh,
But if she
me tell
no,
you.
no,
disclosed,
but,
let me
no,
answer
no,
that for
no,
him.
no. Can I say
Let
something?
me answer it for him.
You see,
Can
you
I
see, you
see?
see what I'm talking
I
about?
want to answer that.
Yes, man, go ahead.
If the woman knew before the marriage that she is unable and she kept it from the man,
Mm.
and then after marriage she discloses it, you can decide to
How
leave
can the
because
man
that is
know?
deception. I'm
So you
sorry?
think every woman is
Yeah,
gonna
that's
tell
true.
their? You
Yeah,
think every
yeah.
woman is gonna
No,
tell
if
the
she
husband?
knew, I said if she knew.
And you think?
However, if
Oh
she
God.
did not know
Yeah.
and it happens in the marriage, that is the for better for worse that you
But I
signed
have
up for,
a
just
question.
like
I
the
have a
illness.
question.
I
I have a
just,
Yeah.
question.
Mama, I have
Can,
come
can
Okay,
to the
I ask,
Washington,
can
your
conclusion.
I ask a
question.
question?
Yeah, yeah. Madam, please, you said if she decide like if she has a problem, what about like when she committed something that is very illegal before she got married? Maybe she did something that is
Like
not
an
nice, like she did it.
abortion.
Exactly. She did it. Then when she got married, she didn't know that the cause of the abortion she did was what restricted her or caused the problem of not having a child. Then in the marriage, when she discovered and the husband discovered, what should be the decision of the husband,
It's
please?
on the man. If you choose to leave, you can choose to leave or stay. That is the decision that is on you.
Mama,
If you love her enough, you can decide. But what I'm trying to say, because this one is something that led, it's a cause and effect. She did something that led to something. So there is a cause and an effect. But I'm
oh,
talking about a situation where neither the man or the woman, the man did not know that he had that disease, and then
You're
he
correct.
married
You're
her
correct on
and it
that. Yeah,
showed
you're
up.
correct.
Yeah,
She should not
I
leave.
agree with
But if
you.
he knew and kept it from her,
yeah.
that is what deception. She can choose to
Unbreakable.
leave, and the other way
Since
around
you're here,
too.
I'm gonna ask you and
It's
Bachina this
both.
question, okay? If
I have
a
come to
man,
a conclusion that marriage is transactional.
unbreakable, because you don't want to face the fact and the
Mama,
truth.
Mama,
You don't want to be
I'm listening.
responsible for actions, and
Mama,
that's the
Mama,
problem.
I'm listening. Mama, I'm
Let me
listening
ask
to
you
you.
my question because I'm about to close this session. I will continue this topic next week.
Go ahead, Mama.
If a man who knows he has erectile
Mm,
issues did not disclose it to his wife,
mm,
on the wedding night, they tried to get intimate,
mm,
he could not perform,
mm.
and the woman now discovers that he indeed has erectile dysfunction. What should be the woman's decision?
Mama,
Very good. Okay.
Mama, before any man is even going to go into a marriage, the woman is already gonna know because while they are dating, they must have had, they must have made love.
Not
It's not all marriages
every
unbreakable.
couple. Not
Some
every couple.
Christian
Okay,
relationships. So I'm asking in a case where
And
nothing
in a
happened.
situation like that, he may not even want to because he knows.
Mama, 1 minute.
What should the woman
Joanna, can you answer?
do?
Mama, honestly, from this topic, the woman should just leave.
The woman should leave the man
The woman should leave.
because he did not
He did
disclose
not
he has
perform.
erectile dysfunction.
Yeah, he did not. She should leave. That's my answer,
Yeah,
Mama.
Bachinan, what's your
yeah.
answer?
Oh, he's right. I don't know what to answer,
It's
to be honest with you.
her
Like,
decision. It's
it's
her
all,
decision.
yeah, the decision is between the both of them, like maybe to make the
It's
decisions.
the
Like,
woman, not both of them, the woman's. Just like I talked about, the
It's on
guy
the woman.
deciding
So
to
if the
stay
No,
or
man
leave.
deceived or didn't tell the woman he knows he has
It's
the
very
issue,
deceptive.
and the woman gets to know, what should the woman do? You should tell us.
okay, maybe the woman should leave. I agree with Unbreakable. The woman
God
should
bless you.
leave.
We'll continue this topic next
Then
week. Overcoming
I have a question.
relationship
I
trauma.
have a question
Okay.
before that. We're talking about trauma, right?
Yes.
Why is it like people always like want to judge or want to tell people who have had a bad relationship or bad marriage like they are in trauma? Because if I explain to you that I've had a bad relationship or a bad trauma, if anything happens in my new relationship, they always use the past relationship to tell you that you have been damaged or you are in trauma. But people who has never experienced or explained the past relationship, people hardly use such word on them. It's only when you tell people your past relationship, they tell you that you are passing trauma. Does it happen so?
Okay. Ask the question again. Why is it that when you tell somebody about your past relationship, they
Exactly.
tell you that you're passing through trauma?
Exactly. When something start happening in the new relationship, like maybe that the new relationship is not really going well, they start to tell you that the problem you have is the past relationship.
I think.
But I
Mhm.
but I feel like maybe if you have not explained that you had a bad relationship in the past, I don't think they can ever tell you like you're passing through trauma. It's only when you tell people that you've had a bad relationship that they
Can
continue
I,
to tell you that you're passing through trauma.
Okay.
can I
Why is it?
can I say something on that
Okay.
then?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so situations like that are part of the reason why people are not transparent. A lot of relationships lack transparency because people are afraid of being judged by their past. So this is a lack of immaturity on the side of either the man or the woman. So when two people get into a relationship and you decide to be exclusive in the sense that you want this relationship to become long term and probably lead into marriage, that is where the boundaries and then transparency comes. Because now you're deciding, I'm going to leave everybody else and focus on this person. If you cannot if she cannot trust you enough to be vulnerable, you're not ready to be in a committed relationship. If you cannot trust her enough to be vulnerable, because vulnerability is strength. People think if I'm vulnerable with you, I'm weak. No, being vulnerable with you means that I trust you. I'm empowered to be able to let down my guard and let you know that this is what I happened to me
Yes.
in the past. So you should be able, as a man, you should be able, as a woman, to take that because that is somebody taking you into their deep secret. You should be able to hold their back because if you use it against them, you have even caused them more trauma than the trauma
exactly,
itself. So you have
exactly.
no business being in that person's life. That's
And
what
it's
I can
also
say.
good for you not to act that traumas you've been through. You understand? And
Yeah.
I know so many people who
But
tell
it may not
their
even
spouse,
be.
yeah,
It may not even be that people make mistakes as they
yeah.
grow.
Oh, of
So
course,
it may not even be that. But
because
because of the knowledge you have, you're now saying this is what it is.
exactly.
Because if that person didn't go through that trauma, they may still exhibit that behavior.
So
Yeah.
I think.
what I'm trying to say is like when you open up to a woman or a man, the bad relationship you had in the past, when something start happen in the present relationship, they want to judge you with the past
Mhm.
relationship. They always tell you like you've not
It's
been
true.
healed. You
Exactly, it's true.
you need to be healed. But if you didn't reveal
Hmm.
what happened in the past relationship, they can never tell you like you need to be healed. They always use that to judge people,
It's
which is not really
true.
You know,
good.
But unfortunately,
this
there's no remedy that I can say for that.
this
People are
comment
just it
section,
just tells me that they're immature.
I just have something to say. I wish that all of you, multiple effects. I am Lambasta. All of you. I pray you all receive Jesus Christ in your life and turn born again because you are not. I'm seeing all your comments. I don't want to say anything. God, I just pray that God will deliver you. Some of you, I will come to your inbox and I'll be giving you Bible quotations so that you can change. And I'll be praying for you. Because you see this your behavior. You go hard. But God will help you. I thank you.
Okay.
Is it multi purpose or something like that? God bless you. I see that you were trying to join. Your network was initially very bad. Um, we had a beautiful more don't you go post. We have a we had a beautiful discussion. I would like for you. You are so reasonable to join me next week Saturday at the same time. We're about to close now. This is almost at 3 p.m.
Yes.
We'll continue this topic because this topic is personal to me because
It's
I
interesting.
get
Like it's an
calls.
interesting topic.
Yes, I get calls. I people are men. I'm not saying only women. No, Oh, a lot of men are traumatized. I have had men call and they are weeping like babies. So this topic is, I know what I'm saying, is very, very important. And so next week, we'll continue this topic in a very large scale. We're coming back again and we're discussing it. And I would like you guys to join me. Before you go, I want to pray that those of you on the comment section that are traumatized, God will heal you in Jesus' name.
Amen.
That you will not be
Amen.
showing yourself everywhere, because even if I see your comment, I know you're traumatized. So God is going to heal your hearts. God is going to heal your soul. He's going to bless you with money. He's going to bless you with every good desires that you have in the mighty name of Jesus. Woman of God, I just want to
Amen.
thank you for being here. You're awesome. Don't mind Unbreakable. I told you that on this street, I know a lot of them. As you see him, so I still love him. He knows. That's why he can come here and just do this. He knows. He
No,
has his
but
good side.
Unbreakable, like he's a strong man, because for him to, a lot of people are really bashing him. So for him to overcome that, like I must tell you that he's really a strong man.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen him in different platforms. People bashing him, like he's a strong man. Not every man that can stand there. I must
Uh-huh.
tell you.
So, but he's inside of him. He's a good person. I can tell
Yeah.
you. He's a good person. He's just one phone call away. Whenever I need anything, he just runs and does them. And there are a lot of them here too. Dream Lights that people think is bad. No, Dream Lights rented a U-Haul and helped me got things I bought, take it to where they are shipping. I just called him immediately. He left everything he was doing. So these guys are nice. They might have a side of them that is broken, but I can tell you that they are beautiful. And I wish they were never broken in the first place. They have a beautiful personality. So I just want to thank you, and I want to apologize again on his behalf. It's my son, so I'm going to say I'm sorry when he made those accusations. You are a very strong and direct person, and that's why I've been telling you, hey, you have to co-host this program with me, because I see a lot of intelligence in you, and we learn a lot from you. So please don't mind him. Don't take what he said seriously. And to everybody, he has a testimony too. He has to come and give here, but that's how they will not give it now. If I expose them now, they will say I expose them. But anyway, God bless you all. Thank you, Bachinanu. Thank you so much. Please,
Thank you very much. Thank you, madam.
brother, the one joining me from Nigeria, God bless. Please send me a text, okay? So I
Okay,
can get your
okay,
handle, okay? All right.
that's fine.
Woman
Thank you,
of God, God
mama.
bless you.
You have a lovely
All right.
weekend
See
God
you
and
bless.
a
all.
happy Easter.
Happy Easter to all of you, okay?
Yeah,
All right.
bye.
Bye-bye. Somebody is there still requesting me. I'm going, see you people. I have to